Hello everybody, it's Flesson19 and welcome to the Caravan settings video for 1.6. The numbers for 1.6 were all over the place, so I had to do additional testing, try to get the numbers just where I felt that they were good enough to be valid. Unlike the other videos, is good news, and good news. That's right. Everything that I'm going to tell you in this video is going to be good news for caravans in 1.6. The first test that I ran is how many caravans are giving profit. In previous ones, the more caravans you ran, the less profit you were getting, and it was a pretty big number. So let's take a look at what I did for this one. For all these tests, these characters will have one skill in everything. I sent these guys out for 2 months to get established and then for one entire year. And I took profit. I did that 5 times to get the average. When I sent out one caravan, they averaged 236 profit per day. When I sent out 2 caravans, they made 221. When I sent out 3, they made 222. When I sent out 4, they made 212. And when I sent out 5, they made 228. As you can see from these numbers, they're a little bit all over the place. However, they are really between about a 24 difference from lowest to highest, and it varies. Therefore, we do not have that ascending or descending value that we've had in previous patches, meaning it doesn't really matter how many you're sending out. They're going to return about the same profit, whether you send out one of them or you send out 5 of them. So I feel pretty confident that I could go ahead and send out multiple caravans and really not lose a lot of profit. Of course, skills are a very big factor in how much they can make. When I sent out 5 caravans with just one skill, they averaged 228 per caravan per day. I then increased all of their scouting to 200 and sent them out again. They made 252 per day. I then only increased their riding to 200. They made 247 per day. I increased their trade to just 200 and they made 290 per day. And then I increased scouting, riding, and trading, all 3 of them, to 200 and they made 324 per caravan per day. So as you can see again, increasing those skills really matters. There are other ones you want to increase as well. Tactics, medicine, any of their weapon skills in which they're using, and roguery will also help out as they are party leaders. So that will make a difference. So skills matter, but these 3 in particular matter a lot. This is when I would normally end the video. However, there is one thing that I noticed, and that caused me to want to do something else and run another test. When I was running the test that I previously just showed, I noticed something in the numbers, and that is when I was using scouting on those characters, they had a better chance of surviving. Because when I ran those tests for an entire year, if any one of those caravans got captured, I would throw that test data out. I wanted a full year of everybody running to take those numbers. But when I had scouting, it seemed like I didn't have as many times that I had to restart it because somebody got captured. So that got me thinking, why don't I run a test on scouting? So what I did was I took 10 companions. I gave them all just one skill and I sent them out for 2 full years. And I did that 10 times. That's a total of 100 companions running for 2 years. And each time I would count how many survived. Out of the 100 caravans with just one skill, 57 survived, running a full 2 years. Then I went ahead and did the same thing again, but this time I increased all their scouting to 200 because scouting allows you to see the enemy parties earlier and possibly avoid them. So I sent the 10 companions back out again for 2 years and I did it 10 times. And out of those 100 caravans, 78 survived. Now I know 10 caravans 10 times is not that big of a number when it comes to RNG. But I think if you look at the numbers, 21 more survive. Nearly 50% better chance of survival compared to no skill. And the lowest I ever had survive with no skill out of those 10 in a run was 3. The lowest I ever had survive with 200 scouting in a run was 6 of the 10. I never had it where less than 6 out of 10 survived the 2 years. I think that is a pretty big indication that scouting is a major factor in survivability. Because when it comes down to it, survivability is profit. The longer your caravans can run, the more money you're going to make because they won't get plundered and you won't have to pay that potential 22,500 to send them back out again. And finally, I wanted to run just one more test because I wanted to know how much are caravans really making? Is it really worth doing it? So this time I sent those 10 caravans out again with no skill whatsoever for 2 years. If they got captured, I did not send them back out. Initial cost that it would cost me to send 10 caravans out 10 separate times, which is 2.25 million. I made about 2,252,000. When you subtract that from the 2.25 million, that makes, I believe, a profit of 75,000. 75,000 for 10 times that you run it. That means you're only averaging a profit of about 27,500 dinars to send 10 caravans out for 2 years. That's total profit after wages, after sending them out. That's not a lot of money when you think about it. That's very little money. So then the last test I wanted to run, I did the same thing again, except this time when I sent them out, I gave them 200 scouting and 200 trade. I sent 10 caravans out for 2 years, and then I did that 10 times. They made 3,784,000. When you take away the 2.25 million initial cost, That means their total profit was 1,534,000 or 153,400 for 10 caravans. So the question is, do you think 153,000 makes it worth sending out 10 caravans for 2 years? That's a lot of money, 153,000. If you divide that again, that's 15,000 per caravan. So is a 22,500 initial investment good enough to send out a caravan for 2 years if it will net you 15,000 profit above the 22,000 you sent out? 15,000 profit on that 22,000 initial investment. That's not a lot. However, there is also two things you've got to realize. First of all, as an Aserai, it is cheaper to send out caravans. It doesn't cost 22,500. I believe it only costs 15,250. Therefore, you're saving about 7,000 more, which would jump that 15,000 profit up to 22,000 profit. So now your 15,000 initial investment is netting you 22,000 profit for 2 years on a caravan. Now that's even more money. And finally, if you are playing a trader, one of the most important things that you can get is the 125 perk called insurance plan. Your caravans return 5,000 gold when destroyed. Remember that, when destroyed. That means when they're plundered, or if you cancel them for any reason, like you want to put new equipment on characters. So there is some really raw data for you guys to absorb. You can make on 10 caravans potentially 2 million profit if you ran them for 20 years. So is that good enough for you? Now, of course, those were tested on 200 skill. But as I said before, riding, tactic, roguery, medicine, fighting skill, they all increase it as well and help the survivability and the profit of your caravan. So do I think caravans are in a perfect position? No. Do I think they are in a profitable position? Absolutely. And I believe now knowing how well scouting increases the survivability of a caravan, I believe scouting and trade to be the two most important perks you want to have your caravan masters to have. And I consider them both equally important. I would rather have 100 in both than 201 and 0 in another. So when you're deciding to make a caravan, look for trade and scouting overall. And you can build some companions into great caravan masters. You don't need to have 200 in every skill. Just try to get 50 to 100 in most of the perks. And I think you will see some good profit. I will see you guys again in 1.6.1 with the next caravan setting video. As always, take care and thanks for watching.